If you're not YouTube, you were supposed to keep scrolling. But since you're here, stay. YouTube needs witnesses. As you've probably heard, or you wouldn't be here, YouTube just doubled the finish line for small creators. So 4,000 qualified watch hours is becoming 8,000. And YouTube announced it under the headline, New Opportunities to Earn and Changes to the YouTube Partner Program. New opportunities to earn? What new opportunities? For who? Because the small long-form creators didn't get a single new opportunity. We got a bigger damn wall to climb. This is not another video about how to beat the deadline. I'm not giving you a 12-step plan to squeeze out more watch time before February. I want YouTube to understand what it just did to small-time creators like you and I. So why the hell did you move the finish line, YouTube?
I read the announcement. The whole thing. There wasn't a single new opportunity that is of any real consequence, and that isn't just vague hype with no real explanation or opportunity for anyone but the large creators you already cater to. But the 8,000-hour requirement isn't vague. That part has a number, it has a date, and most importantly, it has consequences. For the small, long-form creator facing this new gate, all I found was a definite new barrier and promises about possible incentives later. And I am betting the word possible was used to dull the slap in the face we all felt like we got reading it. So don't wrap this in a cheerful headline and tell us it's an opportunity. That's blowing smoke up our ass and pissing on a rock and trying to convince us it's raining, all in one shot. We're small creators. We're not stupid. Beginning February 1st, 2027, a new applicant for ads in YouTube Premium revenue sharing will still need 1,000 subscribers. But the long-form requirement goes from 4,000 qualified watch hours in the previous year to 8,000. Which, if you've done the math, you know that 1,000 subscribers and 8,000 watch hours don't really exist on the same plane. And that math doesn't math. Creators already inside the partner program are protected. But what about the creator who has been working their butt off trying to get to that 4,000 hours of watch time? What about the small creators who just had the bar raised to double the height? Let's be precise. YouTube isn't throwing existing partners out. It isn't banning small channels from uploading. It is making the door to ads and premium revenue sharing harder to reach for the people who have not made it through yet. That is why I will keep saying this targets small creators. I can't prove what is in YouTube's head. I can show you who YouTube designed the new burden to land on. It lands on the creators still outside the gate, small creators like you and I. 8,000 hours sounds like one of those numbers corporate people put in a sentence and expect everybody else to nod at. Let's make it real. 8,000 qualified hours is 480,000 qualified minutes in 1 year. That is not 480,000 views. And more importantly, it is not simply 480,000 ordinary watched minutes showing in YouTube analytics. It is 480,000 minutes that survive YouTube's rules and actually land in the qualifying bucket in the Earn tab. Under YouTube's current eligibility rules, the long-form watch time has to come from valid views of public long-form videos. Watch time from shorts does not count toward this long-form goal. Private videos don't count. Unlisted videos don't count. Deleted videos don't count. Ad campaign traffic doesn't count. Some live stream watch time doesn't count. Artificial or invalid activity can be removed too. And a view is not automatically 5 minutes. A view contributes only the time that person actually watched, assuming YouTube counts that watch time at all. So if I say at 5 qualified minutes per view, 8,000 hours would equal 96,000 qualifying views, that is only clean illustration math. It assumes every one of those views is a valid public long-form view, and each one contributes a full 5 qualified minutes. If only 1/3 of your total watched minutes make it through and qualify, you would need 1,440,000 total watched minutes to produce the required 480,000 qualified minutes. If half of your watched minutes qualify, you would still need 960,000 total watched minutes. But let's work with the 96,000 qualifying views, because the other totals are too daunting to even consider as a small creator. Those 96,000 views work out to about 263 qualifying 5-minute views every day. It does not mean a creator can look at 263 ordinary daily views in analytics and know they are on pace. That's over 1,300 minutes of qualifying watch time a day. The creator may need more total views and more total watch time than that, because some of what they make and some of what viewers watch will never count toward this particular threshold. How much more? YouTube does not give every creator one honest multiplier. It depends on the channel's mix of long-form videos, shorts, live streams, privacy settings, deleted videos, traffic sources, and what YouTube determines is valid. That distinction is not some tiny footnote. It means the clean 480,000 minute number is the amount that must make it through the filter, not necessarily the amount of work and audience attention it takes to produce it. So the real finish line is not just twice the old headline number. For a creator whose analytics watch time does not all qualify, the amount of total attention required can be higher than the headline math makes it look, by a lot. Can some channels do that? Of course. Some will do a hell of a lot more. That does not make it easy. It does not make it reasonable for every niche, and it sure as hell does not make watch hours a quality test. A creator can make careful, original videos for a smaller audience and grow slowly. Another channel can pump out high-volume, repetitive bullshit and pile up watch time. The number tells YouTube how much qualifying attention accumulated. It does not tell YouTube who worked hardest, who made the freshest idea, or whose channel deserves a chance. This is the part that pisses me off. People have spent months, sometimes years, working toward the goal YouTube gave them. They learned to write, they learned to film, they learned to edit, they made thumbnails, they studied their retention graphs, they posted when nobody watched, they fixed things, they tried again. They played the game by the rules you wrote. And now YouTube says, if you don't cross by February, the finish line is twice as far away. What are those creators supposed to do with all that work? Pretend the original goal never mattered? Pretend they weren't organizing their time, money, and expectations around the number you published? You can legally change your program, YouTube. Nobody is arguing that you can't. But if you benefit from all this creator labor, you don't get to act surprised when the people doing it demand an explanation. And this isn't just me being pissed off. Go read the conversations happening between small creators right now. One creator said starting a channel was already rough, called the new requirement brutal, and said it's just not worth it anymore. Another called the change a nightmare and titled the whole discussion, "The 8,000 hours might be the end for me." One creator who was already close to the old goal said they were resigned to not making it because YouTube moved the goalpost at the last minute. And another person said they had quit their job to start uploading, were already struggling to make one video a week, and now felt like it was over before they ever got a real chance. That isn't proof that every small creator is quitting. Reddit is not a scientific survey, and I'm not going to pretend it is. But it is a warning sign YouTube should not get to ignore. These are exactly the people YouTube claims to want. New creators willing to learn, work, take risks, and bring something different to the platform. And within days of this announcement, some of them were not talking about exciting new ways to earn. They were talking about whether there was any point in continuing. What kind of new opportunity makes the people it supposedly helps want to walk away? And YouTube, did you calculate that cost? Did you estimate how many new voices would look at 8,000 hours and decide their time was better spent somewhere else? Because when the people outside your gate start quitting, you don't just lose small channels. You lose the ideas they never got the chance to make. And yes, YouTube has always reserved the right to put ads on videos before the creator qualifies for a share. That isn't the new part, and it isn't the real question here. The real question is, what does a small monetized creator cost YouTube compared with a big one? YouTube is a business. I've said that a million times. Businesses exist to make money, and I don't have a problem with that. But every monetized channel comes with work on YouTube's side. The channel has to be reviewed. The account has to be monitored for fraud and invalid traffic. There are tax forms, payment processing, policy enforcement, support, appeals, and all the other boring administrative crap that comes with having somebody inside the partner program. Some of those costs exist whether the creator receives a $100 payout or a $1 million payout. And percentage-wise, that matters like hell. We don't know YouTube's actual cost per account because YouTube hasn't published it, but use a completely made-up number just to show the difference. If it costs YouTube $20 to administer an account, $20 is 20% of a $100 payout. That same $20 against a $1 million payout is 0.002%. Same account cost, completely different effect on the bottom line. So who is more profitable for YouTube to deal with? Thousands or millions of small creators earning $100 or $200 at a time? Or a much smaller group of large creators generating serious money? And isn't it convenient that this new rule does not throw existing creators out? It simply makes the front door harder to reach. So fewer future low-revenue creators become revenue-sharing, payment, support, and compliance accounts in the first place. I'm not claiming I sat in the meeting where YouTube made this decision. I am asking whether this is the business math behind it. If small creators cost too much compared with the money they generate, say that. If YouTube wants fewer $100 accounts and more $1 million accounts, say that. If doubling the watch hour threshold is really about reducing the number of low-revenue creators YouTube has to support, then own the damn decision. But don't call it a new opportunity for the people you just made less economical to let through the door.
I've already heard the easy responses. If you can't reach 8,000, you wouldn't earn much anyway. Maybe some small channels wouldn't, but small money is not no money, especially to the person paying for equipment, software, and all the hours it takes to make the videos. And you wouldn't earn much still doesn't explain why YouTube should get a longer period where it can monetize the work without sharing. If the content is good, 8,000 hours should be easy. Easy for who? A broad entertainment channel? A tiny educational niche? A creator with a staff? A person doing every job alone after work? Watch hours are not a universal score for talent or effort. YouTube knows that. Maybe this is about stopping AI slop and repetitive content. Then say that. Show the evidence. Explain how doubling a watch hour gate solves it. YouTube already has monetization policies against mass-produced, repetitive, and inauthentic content. Enforce the damn policy that actually addresses the problem. Don't put a blanket burden on every legitimate new creator and pretend accumulated hours separate original work from garbage. And then there's nobody is entitled to monetization. Correct. YouTube gets to set the terms. Creators get to look at those terms, look at the value YouTube gets from our work, and call bullshit when the explanation doesn't add up. YouTube also needs to answer for what happens between now and February. Most small creators cannot manufacture a massive jump in real audience demand because a calendar started counting down. You cannot schedule going viral. You cannot force people to watch. What you can create is panic. Panic to publish more than the work can support. Panic to chase every trend. Panic to spam. Panic to trade engagement. Panic to buy traffic or reach for some other shortcut that can wreck a channel. YouTube's own rules prohibit artificial engagement. Artificial traffic may not count, and it can lead to strikes or termination. I'm not saying every creator will cheat. I'm saying YouTube created a hard deadline attached to a doubled metric.
then left desperate creators staring at shortcuts YouTube itself says not to touch. Did anybody at YouTube study that incentive before announcing this? Did anybody ask what pressure this puts on the people who are close to 4,000 and nowhere near 8,000?
Or was the answer just work harder? Because go viral before February is not a policy explanation. YouTube has said repeatedly that emerging creators matter. It has talked about helping smaller creators get discovered. So how does making the economic front door harder to reach support that? I won't say every large creator becomes repetitive, but I will say a healthy platform needs new people, new points of view, and ideas that haven't already been made 50 times by somebody with a production team. If the system increasingly favors creators and formats that have already proven they can win, where does the next genuinely new thing come from? How many new creators can afford to keep making videos for years while YouTube pays them nothing? Freshness doesn't appear out of thin air. It comes from letting new people stay in the game long enough to find their audience. If YouTube really wants those people, this policy makes no sense without a much better explanation than the one we got. So, YouTube, here are the questions. Why should creators accept a longer period where you may monetize their work but do not share that revenue with them? If this is about repetitive, mass-produced, or deceptive content, why aren't you enforcing the rules built for that problem instead of using a blunt watch-hour gate? What did you consider for creators who have spent months working toward 4,000 and will miss the February deadline? How many legitimate new creators did you expect to discourage or lose? And do those creators matter to you at all? What did you do to measure whether this deadline will push desperate people towards spam and fake engagement? And where exactly is the new opportunity for the small, long-form creator whose definite news is that the wall just got twice as high? If this change affects you, say so in the comments. Tell YouTube where you are now, how long you've been working toward 4,000 hours, and what doubling the requirement means for your channel. Share this video. Tag YouTube. Not because I think one angry video magically changes a corporation, but because YouTube should have to look at the people underneath its numbers. And if you want to see whether YouTube ever answers, subscribe. YouTube, small creators did the work. We played by your rules. We built toward the goal you gave us. You changed the deal. You moved the finish line. You put the new burden on the people still outside the gate. Now explain yourselves.